So Matt and Catherine with it's HYCH.
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 Yep.
We keep wanting to say hatch for some reason, and
Yeah.
then we keep correcting
Like Hatch
ourselves.
chilies.
Yeah.
HYCH.
Yeah.
And you got a great
You're not the
tagline.
person.
It's heat you can handle.
That's right.
And you guys are local hot sauce makers with an interesting background. You want to dive in and tell us a little bit how you got from where you're at to hot sauce?
Sure.
Oh, wow. That's a big
Yeah.
question.
Well, Matt and I met in Portland the summer of 2014, and we both were like going in different directions, and you were going to Costa Rica.
That's right.
And I thought that sounded really fun. And I was like, I'm in between projects. I think I also will go to Costa Rica with you.
So how long had you known each other at that point?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
That's-
so I thought you were going to say like a week or something
No,
like that. So I was like,
that
we should go to
crazy.
Costa Rica.
3 months still. That's a big jump to go to Costa Rica. It's,
Yeah, that's a big. So I went down. Actually, I I said, honey, after our summer of love, like I don't
This
think
podcast taking a great turn.
I don't think I can go to Costa Rica with you because I had made this decision before we met.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just needed to go on this adventure on my own. And so I went, but every day I was calling and saying hi, and so it was like, okay, you should come.
You can come now.
That's
I
right.
miss you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
So long story short, we spent a whole season there working, and another season, and then I went, and after that second season, we're like, we can't make enough money.
We should
Working
say
in
what we
Costa
were
Rica.
doing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what were you doing
yeah,
there?
yeah. So we got connected with a really neat family. The wife in this couple is from Salem, Oregon, and she and her husband own a little retreat center up in the mountains in Costa Rica. And someone in Matt's culinary network in Portland knew of them because they had come and done culinary classes in Portland when they come up to visit. So anyway, they hired Matt as their chef for the season. And when we say the season, it's like their high season is December through April, May, the good weather, you know. So that's when they have the most traffic. So you worked there for 3 seasons total, cooking, and it's neat. It's like rustic and just up in the hills, about 3.5 hours from San Jose.
It's like a retreat type of.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do a lot of like holistic retreats and meditation and dance
Yoga.
workshops and yoga and yeah.
And Kat also worked there as like front of the house guest services for a season and a half, and then and so we were making money, but just not enough. And we're like, what can we do to supplement our income? And I'd been making sauce. I did a gig there, and then I was also a chef at a music festival for the crew for the 3 months leading up to the music festival. And so in these places I got to make my own sauces for all the guests, and it was like, oh, I've got the a handful of sauces here, and maybe we could bottle hot sauce and try to sell it, because our goal was that we would have checks rolling in while we were sitting on the beach in Costa Rica. or
That's what
Mexico.
everybody wants.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I want that.
We're waiting for this to take off so we get our
Yeah,
checks
that's right,
while we sit on
that's
Costa
right.
Rica sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, we always laugh about that now because that was in 2016. We had come back to kind of get like real jobs again, and we're like, okay, we have to come up with some kind of business model where it's like passive income, and then you want to try making sauces. And we're like, that's a good model. We'll just make some sauces, get them in grocery stores, and then we'll be able to just live on the beach.
Be
Sounds
cool.
easy.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
2 or
Why
3 years.
why haven't more people done
totally,
this?
I know. It's so easy. So we're actually phoning this in from Costa Rica right now because it's been 8 years. So after 2 years, we're like, this is crazy. This is really hard. Like, this is like a 5-year plan. After 5 years, like, this is a 20-year plan.
It's the
But
long
we're getting
game.
there. Yeah,
It's a
it's
long
definitely
game.
the long
Yeah.
game with food retail. But I wanted to mention that Matt has some real chops in the kitchen. I don't think we've talked about your background at all, but you have been cooking for more than 30 years professionally. He doesn't like me to say that because he looks like 22, so it's always like, okay, that would be possible. But and he was the director of the Le Cordon Bleu School of College of Culinary Arts in Portland for some number of years before you
3.5
moved
years
to Costa
director.
Rica. Yeah.
I taught there for 7 years before that. And then, yeah. So been cooking for a while. So making sauce was like, oh yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, and that really, I think, is what sets our sauces apart from a lot of hot sauces. And there's so much good hot sauce out there. The Pacific Northwest, in particular, has like a lot of really amazing sauces, all kinds of different flavors. And I will say that I love our sauces because I don't need a ton of heat. So heat you can handle. And we honestly, one of the reasons we started making our own sauces was because we would be in the stores and we were kind of getting into eating more spicy hot sauces. And we'd look at the label and read all the ingredients and think, oh my gosh, this sounds really yummy. And then get home and pour it on our food. And it was just hot. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't yummy, but it didn't have a lot of flavor.
Like you couldn't get to the flavor because you're trying to get through the heat sort of thing.
Right. Okay. Or then it was so hot too that, I mean, I like to dump a lot of sauce on my food because it's yummy, all the flavors. But if it's too hot, you just can put a few drops or else you're like, oh, I can't eat it. So we just want to make some sauces that were really well balanced. And Matt has those skills being a chef.
And that became the business plan, or the problem we were solving was, well, hot sauce is too hot.
Yeah.
We're going to make low heat hot sauce and get it out there.
A lot of the hot sauces that I've seen, it's like they're competing to be the hottest. It's like
that's right.
And their labels are like, you put like a devil or something on the label, like this is how hot it is. So they're competing to like make you not want to eat it. It's more like a novelty type thing that they're just you give to your friends.
Right. Yeah.
But you guys are trying to make hot sauce that is something you can enjoy with your food.
Yeah.
Dump on, more than a couple drops on.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well,
you can cook with it, marinate.
Yeah, and how many bottles of sauce do you buy that like migrate to the back of the fridge and then they're just sitting back there?
And you realize they've been there for like 9 years.
Most of our fridge is just sauces and pickles.
We had to move. We got a new fridge and it was a little bit shallower, and all of a sudden I'm like, what do we do with all these sauces? So we have like a section in the garage fridge now for all of them.
That's
and we're like, we used to have that sauce. Oh wait, it's out in the garage.
We should probably check the expiration date on all of this.
I need to make a branded hot sauce mini fridge.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah,
special shelves in it.
That would sell well at the holidays.
Their next business
gift for
there
their.
You go.
Yeah, that's right. How hard can their refrigerator business be?
Maybe instead of the water dispenser, you just have a hot sauce little thing.
Yes,
Put your plate underneath.
I love it. I love it. A lot of good ideas.
A special kind of plate.
Good idea. And
I like it.
Yeah, I will say that even though it's called Heat You Can Handle, we stand at a lot of farmers markets and events, having fun, talking to people and having them sample our sauces. And it's relative because there's so many people who are like, oh, heat I can handle, great. And then they might try it and they're like, that's really hot. Like, oh, sorry. It's all subjective.
I can handle it. Carrie's, ketchup's kind of spicy for her.
It can be. Like, seriously. Yeah.
So these and I never pressure anyone to try hot sauce. I'm like, if you don't eat like sriracha, then
maybe
you probably are
away.
Gonna.
Yeah.
They're not crazy hot, but ours, like, they're not gonna burn your lips. They're not gonna stay with you for the next hour. I bit into some Kung Pao chicken last week. Oh, it was like painful. I thought my mouth was on fire.
Oh, no.
So ours are never that hot. It's always just, it might be like a little hot, but
Brian will be like, there's a little bit of heat to it, and I'll take a bite, and I'm like,
yeah.
We go to the Mexican restaurant. It's like, okay, we're just gonna bring out just a can of tomato sauce.
I know. I'm like,
For you.
thank you so much. Do you have mild?
Do you have the gringo sauce? Do you have the gringo sauce? That's,
Well, I always say at the markets, like, this is hot sauce.
Yeah. Right, me too. Yeah, it's still hot sauce.
Caveat is like, it says heat can handle, but it is hot sauce.
Yeah.
So it's just not Reaper hot or Pepper
Reaper hot. I like it.
Right, exactly.
So it sounds like the goal is to be able to put the sauce on, get the flavor of the hot sauce, but still not like burn your taste buds to where you can't taste the food you're eating as well. So it just like enhances the food. Okay. Okay.
That's her.
And
you can always add more heat. That's what I always say. Like, you can't take heat away, but you can have more heat at home.
You cannot take heat away.
If you have more heat. Yeah.
You can see some of the business plan in the bottle. Like, most hot sauces are in that 5-ounce bottle with the small top.
Yeah.
Even some hot sauces have the regulator on it.
The little plastic.
If I'm going to start a business, I want you to use the product. Why would I put a regulator on it?
It's just going to let it drip out a little bit.
Why would I put a small opening? I would, pour that stuff out.
We don't want to drop at a time. We want you to empty that bottle and so you go buy some more.
Marinate all the ribs. That's
there
you
go.
Done.
Oh, that'd be good for ribs.
So I was talking to you guys earlier. The marketing on this is really good. You guys have a really nice label.
Thank you.
It's easy to read. It stands out, I think. And the fact that you guys are still working like small events and you guys are out there selling it, it's really cool to see that you've got so much that you're putting into your product, yourselves, and the fact that you really thought about the presentation of it.
Did you see the last little line here? So it says gluten-free, no preservatives, all natural, and we love dogs.
And we love dogs.
Yeah.
That's right.
So where did that come from? Tell me.
Sure. We didn't bring our gift pack, but if you look at our website or our little 3-bottle gift pack, our dog Buddy, who is now in the big dog park in the sky, but he was the best dog. We got him here at the Oregon Humane Society. We used to be called the Willamette Humane Society when we got him. And that was just a year after we started our business. And they did such a phenomenal job helping this dog find a family because he was 8 years old. They had done surgery on both of his eyes because he apparently, when he was surrendered, we don't really know his backstory, but he had a condition where his eyelids were turning in, and they said he could barely see, like bumped into the walls and stuff. And he was a big old American bulldog, and so they had done the surgery on his eyes and also taken off a big mast cell tumor on his haunch. So he was all shaved, for the surgeries, and then he was missing a lot of fur. Like his poor tail had like no fur
bald,
on it.
yeah.
But he was just the sweetest dog. We met him, and he was so sweet and friendly. And so it was a $0 hospice adoption. It was a Sunday, and Matt had said, "What do you want to do today? We can do anything you want." And I said, "I want to go to the dog shelter and look at dogs." And he was like, "Oh no!"
He's like,
I see where this is going.
And we went and we met Buddy, and then we went to Gilgamesh Brewing and had a beer, and we had a whole conversation about it. And I think we both thought that we both were in agreement, and we pulled out of the parking lot of the brewery, and you went the wrong way. And I was like, "Where are you going?" "We're going to the shelter." You're like, "No, we said we weren't going." And I was like, "We're going." So we went, we got him, and he was amazing. We had him for 4 years.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yep.
So he became like our mascot,
Yeah.
and now we donate a portion of all our sales to the Oregon Humane Society.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, they're just great. We try to do like some of their events, like the Willamette
Willamette
Strut.
Strut.
How do you say it? Yeah. Anyway, so that's what that's about. We love dogs. We don't have a dog right now. We honestly, after he left, we've been so busy. We're just like, we're so many days. We're not even home for 8 hours. So we just can't really get a dog right now. But
Someday.
But we love the farmers markets. We get to see everyone else's dogs. So yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
So tell me, I mean, you both have traveled the world. I mean, I read that you lived in, Iceland?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, that was one of my first big trips when I was just out of high school. I was an exchange student for a year living like an hour outside of Reykjavik. So yeah, that was kind of before Iceland was super trendy and everyone, I just thought like, who lives there? What's happening there? I lived in North Carolina at the time, so it wasn't quite as far as being on the West Coast, but yeah, it was a really great experience. I would love to go back.
When we were in Costa Rica, there was like a little talent show at the retreat center, and Kat comes out in this floor-length dress, multicolored dress, and a pink wig, and she recites a poem in Icelandic.
Yeah.
And I was like,
which I couldn't
You're
do
like,
today.
what?
my jaw hit the ground. I was like, oh my God, who is this goddess?
Well, yeah, I did speak pretty fluent Icelandic back then. That was quite a number of decades ago now. So yeah, I've traveled there. I lived in Hawaii for a little while, just checking that out. And I've just always been a traveler. I just always like to get up and go. But
Kat left she was the state ombudsman in North Carolina with retirement homes.
The state ombudsman. But
state.
yeah,
What is that?
That's I have a master's in gerontology, and that's the study of aging. And so one of my roles was with the state of North Carolina in a like a 7-county agency. I would go around and be a mediator, facilitator, trainer, and an advocate for people living in long-term care facilities. Okay. So yeah.
So but she got bored with that, so she moved to Arizona to milk goats.
Oh, that's right.
To milk goats.
After I finished
That's
my
quite a
master's
leap.
degree, yeah.
You know, you're like,
I had my
Your
real
resignation
job.
letter, that might have been really interesting.
Yeah. My
like, I gotta go
boss
milk
was
goats.
Yeah.
not happy. Yeah, that's right. I did. I was like, this has been fun, guys. I see you guys all adding to your 401k, but I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm
do
gonna
this.
go milk
I
some
can't do this
goats.
for 30 years. Yeah. So I did milk goats. That was exciting.
And
you
Well, you were in Croatia when I was on
Oh yeah, we met on OkCupid.
Yeah, OkCupid.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, man, did you guys meet like on a connecting flight somewhere? Because you guys are just everywhere.
Like, how'd you cross paths? Yeah.
We were both online dating, and I saw her and I wrote her, a thing, and it said on OkCupid. I don't know if you guys were ever on the dating websites or anything, but there was like Match and eHarmony, and you would pay like $25 a month or $50 a month. And after a while, I'm like, this isn't working. But OkCupid was free, and so I was just on that, and I saw her, and I wrote to her, and I got a message back that said, "Sorry, her mailbox is full. Do you want to pay $1 to send your notes?" I was like, all right, I'll pay.
You're like, I'll pay $1. That's
best dollar you ever spent.
But I didn't hear from her at all. Like, I was like, oh, well, okay.
He's like, I want my $1 back.
Yeah, that's right. Always. Yeah. It was just because I was traveling and like, I don't know, if you're a woman online dating, all these, your mailbox fills up.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. But when I got back to civilization, we met up and went out, and here we are.
Yeah,
So
2 months
10
later
years.
or so.
Was that after you got done milking goats?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That was.
Brian's not going to let that go. He's like,
Well, Kat's kind of a serial entrepreneur, too, because after the goat milking, she started a business as a locksmith.
Well, I joined forces with a locksmith and we decided to grow a business together. He was like a mobile locksmith, and he would get jobs from all over in Tucson, Arizona, where I was living. And so we joined forces, and we grew it from like him being our one technician to his vision, which we did achieve. We had an office in Bend, Oregon, with like 24/7 dispatch folks getting mobile locksmith jobs for all over the country. We had like 25 different metro cities. So that was exciting, but also very sharky and competitive and like, so I don't know. I just wanted out. So I sold my shares in that company and got out. And that's when I met Matt. And so I had some money to travel to go to Costa Rica, and we had a great adventure. And but we love being in Oregon. I feel like we're going all around. Why don't you briefly mention our travel retreats? Speaking of travel, we've tried to build that back into this brand because we love just adventuring and around food and with people.
So we were in Costa Rica. We wanted to go back to Costa Rica, but it wasn't going to work out to like move back because the grocery game is difficult and you got to be around. And so we decided to add culinary retreats because we were working at a retreat center, and we're like, well, we could bring people here and do cooking classes. So we were like, okay, so in 2019 we launched our first culinary retreat, which was scheduled for March of 2020.
How did that go? Did anything happen in March of 2020?
Fortunately the timing lined up where, well, also unfortunately that we had to cancel it. But it was like 2 days before we were supposed to go that the borders closed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And so had it been a week, had we scheduled it a week before, who knows? We were all sort of like, I don't know what's happening. And we could have been on that plane and stuck. We saw a movie where a couple went on a date to Costa Rica.
On Netflix, have you seen it?
And they got stuck in Costa Rica together. And that was
during
like,
COVID.
they knew each other for like a week. And then they're like, let's go to Costa Rica. And then they got stuck.
You're like, who made a movie about it?
We had a very different experience in Costa Rica.
Let's hear.
I think we went to the wrong part of Costa Rica.
Maybe. Yeah, because for my son's, our son's graduation, he wanted to go someplace kind of exotic and not like a...
So our thing with our kids is that when you graduate, you get a trip with mom and dad.
Awesome.
And it's just a one-on-one trip, and the other kids, we have 4 kids, so the other kids have to stay back, and so his was Costa Rica. So go ahead. I just wanted
awesome.
to...
Okay.
So,
now you go.
I love it.
So when we went down there, Carrie didn't know like all the wildlife that was there, and we went to a very kind of more of a remote area.
Where'd you guys go? Was it like south or?
There was a plane
south.
that crashed, and then they built stuff around the plane.
It didn't crash. I think.
No.
We just rode past that plane when we were down there.
It was like you could stay up inside the plane. Yeah.
That sounds like Manuel Antonio. Like I know they have a plain like hotel.
Yeah,
I can't think of
it
where
it was the south side.
Cool,
it
though.
was
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we
that's
found out we were in a
exciting.
very remote area.
Oh, maybe you were on
Maybe
the
like
Osa.
in the Osa Peninsula, maybe? I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure. I'm horrible with geography.
Yeah, that's
she's
okay.
blocked a lot of it out.
I'm blocked a lot of it out.
She wouldn't leave out there the first day.
I called my mom crying.
Yeah.
I was like, so we get there and like they drop us off and they're like, okay, well, you're staying down there. We're like, where? And it's like pitch black out. And so they're like, well, you got to walk down this like mountainside. And the rooms were literally like kind of built into the mountainside just off this main busy road.
Oh.
And so we're walking and I'm stepping in water and there's like cars going past us and we're like lugging our suitcases down.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we're sitting there and I stepped in something and I was like, oh my gosh, something like flipped up and hit the back of my leg. Brian tells me it's like a leech, like a big old leech that just like slapped the back of my leg and he's trying to like smack it off.
In the dark?
Yeah, in the dark. So imagine just stepping in a puddle of something and having something just slap the back of your leg. And I'm like, I think it was like a twig or a branch or something. Brian's like, yep, that's what it was. And so then we get to the room. I don't find out until we're back that we get there and there's some big insect of some sort that Brian had to like scoot out.
It was a spider. It was one of the big spiders.
Really
I
big.
didn't know it was a
Yeah, I
spider.
didn't tell you that part.
And
She's in the room crying. I'm going out on the balcony. I see this giant spider. It's like, oh, crap! I can't let her see this thing. So I'm like trying to fight this thing off the deck so she doesn't see it.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I love you guys so much. Have the best trip. I'm going to catch a flight back. And
Did
Brian's
you?
like, no, I didn't. I wound up staying. But my mom talked me into staying. I think that, yeah. And so I'm calling her and I'm like, Mom, I have to come home. I can't do this. And she's like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, and then just like there was this, there was like stuff in the room saying basically like, make sure when you got to your room, there was a gate you went through and they were like, lock the gate because people will try to break in. And we were like, what? And it literally like, here's the road, here's our hotel room, just right there.
That retreat you're talking about, that sounds pretty good.
I drink a lot.
Anyone who's listening, it's very different from their experience.
Yeah. That's what I'm like, I think we went to the wrong part.
Yeah, but our son loved it.
Never know.
He loved it.
Great.
He got the whole experience.
Did you do zip lining and all
we
that
did the
kind of
zip
stuff?
lining.
Yeah.
We saw
I've never done that.
We saw the alligator or the crocodiles and
yeah.
stuff like that. Went on like the swamp tours and
Oh my gosh.
I cried
we did
then,
all
too.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
I did.
Were you on the boat next to a crocodile?
So
or?
we were in the boat, and I jokingly said, "Do you ever have any issues with like snakes falling on the boat?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, every once in a while." And I'm like, "I can't go on this boat now." And so I was like, "I'm just gonna sit in the car." And Brian's like, "There's no place for you to sit." This is a vacation from hell.
no.
But they had amazing sunsets. So
yeah,
I mean, the sunsets
yeah.
were incredible. And
everybody was just super nice there.
was
It's so
nice.
clean too.
Yeah.
It's like you go there
Yeah.
and everybody's like super conscious about like recycling and cleaning up.
They
'Cause
are
it's
very eco-friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once we
water,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like,
Well, and once we got
Yeah.
out, like I finally did get on the boat and we got out and started going on the tour. It was amazing.
Oh,
It was
good. I'm glad you went. Then.
Yeah. No, I did wind up going.
Aw,
I was
yeah.
a big baby. Like
you could take it now.
I don't know. I want to go to their side of Costa Rica.
Tell us more about your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this retreat center we go to, let me back up. And so we relaunched because the 2021 didn't work. We relaunched in 2022 and we took 21 people to Costa Rica. And we did a hot sauce retreat. So we partnered with a person who lives down there and they grew peppers for us. And then we got down there and everybody made their own, created their own recipe, and then we made and bottled their sauces.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and then we surveyed everybody at the end and said, well, what do you want to do next? And so we got a list back, then everybody wanted to go to Italy, Iceland, and Ireland. So the I places.
The eyes, yeah.
It was so
I
funny.
don't know why. So we said, okay, so we planned a Italy retreat, and we went to Italy in this past September with 14 people.
Oh, how fun.
And that was really fun, and we worked with Italian chefs, and we went to vineyards and olive oil tasting, and it was just super beautiful.
Very different. No hot sauce theme with that one. It was just culinary wine, like Rome, Florence, and in between.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun. Really fun.
Yeah. And then we had this third retreat just a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess now. So we took just a small group, 8 people, to the retreat center
in Costa Rica.
We
went back to Costa Rica. Yeah,
and the place is incredible. If I could only take people who were slightly interested to that place for 10 minutes, they would be like, oh yeah,
I want to try that place. So
yeah.
I know, because you hear people talk about Costa Rica and how amazing it is, and I'm like, I wish we would have gone there.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
But they don't have to worry about like their own flight, figuring out their flights, their itinerary.
They do. We don't do any of that part just because it'd be so crazy with people coming from all over. Honestly, most of our guests on this trip were from Portland or Salem. Okay. But no, everyone has to get their own flights and pay for their own flights. And then our package includes starting the day of the retreat at 10 a.m. Our shuttle goes around the Finca Mia. It's the retreat center shuttle, comes through San Jose and picks people up either at the airport if they've just flown in that day or at a nearby hotel. So then they don't do anything else. So we just recommend everyone arriving the day before the retreat starts, because we have had people fly in the morning of and their flight gets canceled or something happens and they miss the shuttle. Bunch, and they miss like a whole day and they have to get a private taxi. And it's so anyway, you get your own flight and then that hotel room and then for the first night, and then you just don't have to think about anything, which is one reason we like the group travel stuff. Honestly, like before we started doing these group travel trips, I've never considered myself a group traveler. I'd be like, why would I go with a group?
Yeah, why would I go with people I don't know?
Yeah. But it turns out it's really, I think it's more fun. I mean, really Matt and I travel together a lot. And, when you're with your person all the time, you're kind of like in your same dynamic. But when you're with a group of new people, especially like-minded, fun people who want to eat and travel and explore, like it's just fun. There's always new stories to tell, new memories. Everyone's laughing and people are kind of being their best self, and like leaving your stuff behind if, whatever. So we love it. Yeah. And people, we've had people make friends. And last year after the Italy retreat, one of the women is from South Carolina, and then she planned to come visit 2 of the women in Salem. And we all got together for dinner here with the group that was in the area. And so, people keep in touch and stuff. So
a couple
it's really fun.
Last trip, they are from the Bay Area and they want to come up and visit everybody. And I actually ran into him, one of the guys, this past weekend in Las Vegas at a show. And
oh wow.
Kinda, like
small world.
We're going to, we gotta hook up. And,
You're gonna start planning reunions next.
Yeah,
people can come meet up.
So you got a lot of repeats as far as like they loved it and they're gonna come back the next year or something.
Well, the tricky part that we're finding with the retreats is everyone wants to go to a new place, of course. Like, you only have so many vacation days. You only have so much budget for your big vacation to take a big trip out of the country like that. So if you've already gone to Costa Rica, then you're like, that was so fun. I loved going with you guys. Where are you going next? So that's why we did the Italy trip. And that was really fun. But we partnered with a tour company out of Portland, Oregon, because we didn't have a place to stay in Italy. We don't know the bus drivers. We don't speak Italian. So they put the package together for us. And we just weren't 100% satisfied with all of the package, like some of the accommodations and stuff. So we want to have the control over everyone's experience, like as much as we can, and provide the best experience. So we've just sort of decided maybe we'll just do Costa Rica for a few years, just because like that one is amazing and we can guarantee it's going to be amazing, because each time we go to a new country and do a package, like you have to either find a tour operator or try to put it all together yourself without, maybe we could go to everywhere first. And do a vacation and then, that's right.
I like that idea.
So we'll see.
Just
but
research
now,
and development.
That's a great write-off,
exactly.
by the way.
I like that.
Cost of goods sold.
We're going to call our CPA and tell them we have to go ahead
and do a little
some research.
That's right.
Gotta go to Spain.
We got to go to Costa Rica. Like
they got sauce there, I swear.
Brian's going to go just start taking people's like pictures of people's houses. Like, what's going on? It's like, don't. It's for work.
Yeah,
it's all right.
That's right. You could take the podcast on the road.
There you go.
Yes.
So it's really up your alley as far as being able to teach, culinary, and you must really enjoy that part of it.
I love to teach, and I teach now still. Like I teach a day a week. Today I taught online classes at Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. And so I like to teach. I like to bring people together around food. And last week we did a class at our house. So we had 6 people come over. We had donated a class to the Gala of Trees.
For family building blocks. Yeah.
It's an amazing event.
Yeah. So neat. The trees are beautiful. Yeah.
So they had bid on that, won it, and finally we're cashing in on it. And so they came over. We made empanadas, and that was really fun. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to make?
People always ask him that. It changes every few months. He's like, I think now my favorite. I know what you're gonna say. Eggs. I knew it. I knew it. He's really into eggs right now.
So eggs are interesting because they, we all just make scrambled eggs or make a fried egg or whatever, but you can do them differently and the texture is different. And I'm making this miso French scramble right now. So you take miso and mix it into the eggs, and then you do a French scramble, which is very low heat and stirring all the time so the folds don't happen.
Yeah.
And you end up with this super creamy egg with no cream. And you get like that miso, which is like this deep umami flavor in the egg, and so it's so rich and delicate, and it's just really lovely. And then doing the same with like basted eggs, no oil, steam.
What's a basted egg? I've never heard of that.
So that's, you get your pan, you put a little water in it, just a little bit, and then put your eggs in it, crack your eggs in there, and then put the top over a lid over it and let the steam cook it, also low heat. And so you're just barely cooking them, and I like them so the yolk is not super runny, but not set.
Yeah.
So it's just like this creamy, like rich, like.
So I love all those textures and tastes and stuff. I'm more of a foodie. She is very
scrambled,
100%. Don't let the food touch each other. So
or these eggs look a little wet.
If we go to a restaurant, I'm usually sampling a lot of her stuff too, because she's like, I don't like that. So,
I sound so high maintenance. Oh my gosh,
it's great. It's great, especially if you love food.
It's great for Brian.
Yeah,
That's right.
He's like, I get to eat a lot of great things because I'm like, oh, that looks pretty, and it comes out, and I'm like,
I don't want it. Yeah.
Brian, are you hungry? Because this is yours now.
Yeah. If I could get her to eat it, she'd love it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's just getting her past the texture and the looks and all that stuff. It's just.
I'm the problem.
Food is very subjective. Like it's everyone has
I blame
their
my
thoughts.
mom. Mom, I love you, but I blame you because we had like 4 meals that we rotated through all the time. They were all great.
And all our girls are picking up the same thing. It's like,
I know.
We're never getting out of this town. We can never go on a big vacation somewhere because it's like, where's our normal food that we like to eat?
I always joke that Brian and I were dating. I can't even remember how long, but before we had stir fry, and I knew there was more than just chicken and water chestnuts and the occasional broccoli.
I love
like
it.
if you're and so he's like eating this big thing of stir fry. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, stir fry. I'm like, that is not stir fry. Where are your water chestnuts? And where's your broccoli? Those are the only 3 things that should be in
Don't get us started on meatloaf. That was interesting too.
I love it. Do you have a good meatloaf recipe?
I do now.
Meatloaf's making a comeback.
Yeah. So I had never had meatloaf when we started dating. Brian makes a comment about, we were living together then. He made a comment about loving meatloaf. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to make meatloaf. I don't know how, I burn water. And so I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and try this. So I'm like, I wound up making 2 of them. And Brian comes home and I'm so excited. He tells me how he loves like meatloaf sandwiches and all the leftovers. And I'm like, he's going to love this. And he takes a bite and he's like, he's like, so what did you put in it? And I was like, so I got like the meat. Yeah. And then I got like the little packet that said like meatloaf on it and just kind of put that in there. And he's like, so you made a loaf of meat?
No eggs.
Like no eggs, no breadcrumbs, no onions, no nothing. And he's like,
you're like, it's called meatloaf.
I know. I was like, I did everything the package told me to do. He's the cook between the 2 of us. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, same. Yeah. Don't want me cooking for you.
I like to do like barbecues, and I like to find recipes and try to and go off some of those. I'm not.
That's great.
I mean, I experiment a little bit. Usually, my experimentation comes with we don't have something. I don't want to go to the store, so I'm gonna try to make something that kind of tastes like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So I like doing the fun stuff. I mean, if it's just normal dinners, like, I don't want
He likes the presentation. He likes like the wow factor of it. And so
I love it.
He wants to like set it
nicely
on
plated
fire.
stuff, you know.
Yes,
Sprinkle this. Yeah.
He wants like an experience when he's serving you something. Where I'm like, here's your spaghetti.
Yeah,
like,
right. I'm like, I'm just hungry. I'm like already eating. Yeah.
I'm always so disappointed when I've made something and it's like fresh and like ready to go, and Kat's kind of like, okay, and then she'll come to it, and then like, oh, I got to put some garbanzo beans on top of that.
And you're like, rude. Yeah.
How dare you?
I know. But I will say, if we're eating the exact same ingredients in a meal, but I've like made mine over here and Matt's over there like doing something beautiful. I mean, yours always looks 100 times better than mine. I'm like, but these are the exact same plates, but yours looks so good, and mine looks really
It's like
boring.
artistic almost. Yeah.
Imagine if I was trying to do a social media post.
Yeah.
You
don't want to see it. You don't want to see that.
We each have our strengths.
That's right.
If I can't take a picture of the food before I serve it, you know, it's like.
He's like, what am I even doing here?
Why am I even here?
Why did I show up?
If it's not sizzling,
you guys should cook together sometime, and we'll just eat.
We'll just eat it.
We'll eat and drink. Yes.
That sounds amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you get into cooking?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, when I was in college, I was in Colorado at University of Colorado. I didn't have a ton of money going to school, and so my first job was washing dishes at a sorority house. So, so that was
that's the only job you could get in town.
No. It wasn't even a job. I didn't even get paid. I got food for that. So so that was the first thing, and all my buddies did it. Like everybody went and got a job as a hasher at the sorority house, and so. You go there, you meet girls, you know, and you watch.
Get free meals.
Great. So that gave me enough experience to give my first job at a Mexican restaurant in Boulder, the Rio Grande, which is a pretty famous Boulder restaurant.
Okay.
And so I was just doing that through school, and then when I graduated, I moved to Breckenridge and kept cooking because it was easy to get a job cooking, and I wanted to work for the Forest Service. That was kind of the goal. And so I would snowboard all day and then go to my job at 4:00 in the afternoon and, work till midnight, and then get up, snowboard, go to work, and just cycle through. And that's what I always tell my students now, too. It's just like this, who has to eat? Everybody. And where is everybody? Well, they're everywhere. And that means that there's work for you anywhere you go if you know how to cook.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I moved to the Pacific Northwest, and I got a break cooking, getting a job at a Wolfgang Puck restaurant.
Oh wow!
And so I've had Wolfgang Puck over my shoulder telling me how to cook, and when I was really young, trying to
That's
do this stuff,
amazing.
and I was like, holy cow, and so that was a cool experience. And then the travel thing. This guy came to work at that restaurant, and he said, I just got off working on a boat, a little 80-passenger ecotourism boat as a cook, and they're looking for somebody. And
I was just going to ask, have you ever cooked on a boat?
Yeah.
Because I hear,
Yeah. So,
oh, man. And you don't have any type of nausea or anything from working on the boat?
I didn't, at that time I was, 26 or 27, and it's just like, whatever, throw caution to the wind, and I don't care, I'm going to get on this boat. And mostly those boats, they're passenger boats, so they're not out,
And it was mostly the Southeast Passage of Alaska, right?
No, it was that was part
protected.
of it.
Oh,
the
okay.
wintertime we were in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So that when I went in for the interview, they're like, "Oh yeah, the boat's down in the Sea of Cortez right now. We'll fly you down to Mexico." And I was like,
okay,
all right, that sounds good. So Mexico, and then summertime in Alaska, and then spring and fall around here, like up the Columbia River Gorge and the Inside Passage and all that. So that was really fun, just traveling and cooking, and I'd be making bread and looking at dolphins. It was pretty cool. So that, I think, was sort of solidifying the travel, oh yeah, I want to be out and about and doing stuff. And after that, back to Denver, and was a sous chef at the Denver Art Museum, and went back to school after that and got my master's in education. I thought I was going to be a 4th grade teacher. And then
which I think you'd be really good at, but
well, and then
there's still time.
I had a summer before the school year started, and Le Cordon Bleu was hiring, and so I was like, oh, I could go teach there. I filled in for somebody on maternity leave, and they did not return, so I kept teaching.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And there's the funny story with that too. The chef who was the director of Le Cordon Bleu at that time and hired Matt on maternity leave. Le Cordon Bleu closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Shortly after you left, probably why. I'm just kidding.
They're like, Matt's gone. We'll just shut it down.
Yeah, that's right. No, they closed their doors, so all those folks had to find other jobs. And then we landed in Salem, Oregon, for my job after Costa Rica, and Matt was bouncing around doing chef gigs. And then the same chef, Chef Wendy Bennett, had since started working at McNary High School in Kaiser with the culinary program. They have such a good program here in the Salem Kaiser schools for culinary. And she was looking for someone to fill in on for a maternity leave teacher. And Matt saw that and said, oh, that's so funny. It was the exact same scenario. So you took that job and then you worked teaching at McNary for 4 years in their culinary program.
Wow.
So we were... we got here in 2016. We literally started making sauce also in 2016. And we kind of started getting into grocery stores and figuring out like all the nuts and bolts of the business in 2017, 2018. But you were at McNary the whole time, and I was managing a self-storage facility in Salem for all those years. And then last year was our first year where we were both 100% full-time with our business.
Yeah.
So how many stores are you guys in now?
So
we don't really always know because we work with a couple of distributors, and how that works is they just place orders, you ship them sauce, and then they put it out into the world.
So it's a nice surprise when you walk in, like, hey, that's my stuff.
Here's my sauce.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask for reports. Like, ideally, you want to know so that you can support the sales and go in and do demos and run promotions. But
I'd say like a guesstimate would be 250 to 300, something like that. So we're
not that many.
It's not
that's
that
a
many.
lot.
Yeah.
We need to.
Everyone says you need to be in 3,000.
3,000.
Wow.
To like make the numbers pencil out.
So how do you produce all this?
Well, so when we started, Matt was literally making hot sauce in our kitchen in Salem. We didn't have a dog at the time, and we pretty quickly got the kitchen certified just in our home. And you were like roasting vegetables and like making it on the kitchen. We went to Costco, and our big purchase was the Vitamix. We were so excited. Like, the fancy blender, okay, we got our Vitamix, $400 Vitamix. We're in the sauce game now. So, but pretty quickly, like within 6 months or a year, we only had 2 flavors then.
Which flavors are they?
The bibimbap.
These two.
And the guajillo. Yeah, those are our 2 original flavors. Yep. And then pretty quickly, we're like, this is slow going. I mean, for one thing, our product wasn't shelf stable because we were just hot filling it in our kitchen, and you have to have a special certification for that. So any event that we went to sell sauce, farmers markets, holiday events, we had to take it in coolers. Oh. So, and the labels were terrible when we started. It's so embarrassing to look at.
I want to see these labels now.
It's like one of those like the badges, like "Hello, my name is," and you just write down.
That would have been better. That would have been a lot better than what we had designed. We just threw something up on Vistaprint, like had them printed like stickers and stuck them on there. It's just so bad. But we learned about co-packers. You can talk about that part.
Yeah. So I knew we were researching how are we going to bottle a lot of sauce at one time. So I was looking at bottling equipment
like kettles and stuff,
and so it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment, and it's like there's got to be, how is this happening? How do people do this? And so the co-packer, somebody told us along the way about co-manufacturers or co-packers, and so there's tons of businesses around that will create your product depending on what kind of product it is,
and they have all the equipment and all that sort of stuff. Got it.
And certifications
and then you sign an NDA. And they get your recipe, they scale it up, so you're getting the same product at 100 gallons as you are at 5 gallons.
Roughly. I will say, like, when we first started working with them, and now we just kind of know, like, each recipe, I mean, we make it at home first and get it the way that we want it. And then if you're going to work with a co-packer, one of the things you kind of lose is, like, that precision, because you take it to them and then I mean, even if we were scaling to 100 gallons, like, it's not going to always be exactly the same.
And they're not working with fresh
ingredients,
right? So they're working on the time schedule, and so you have to adjust and figure out how are you going to do your recipe and come out with the flavor you want.
With like frozen or powdered maybe.
So do you have to adjust your recipe based on like how large of a, like when you're doing your recipe at a small scale, adjust it for that larger scale too?
Yeah, and they have a scientist on staff who'll do that. Because when we go there to do the R&D with our recipes, we start with we're just working with a tiny saucepan on a little burner, and we're all in there like tasting it. No, add more of this, tasting it, and we try to get it to match up with what we brought from our home kitchen. But they source different ingredients. Now, when we have a new recipe in mind, we actually start by going to them and saying, "This is the recipe we want to try to make. What will you be sourcing, and can we get some of that?"
Kind of reverse engineer it.
Yeah, just because otherwise we're going to Fred Meyer and buying this and that, and then we can get our hands on, and then we go up there and they're like, we're not going to be able to, we don't get any of those products. Like, we're going to get this, and this to create the pineapple sauce. So, so it's just a little bit tricky there to try to scale up to 100 gallons and have it taste the way that we intended.
It's totally doable.
Yeah.
It's just that in the beginning, I'm a chef, right? It's like, I'm going to have my chef ways do this. And then, then you're like, okay, like.
Yeah, we're scientists and we're going to do it this way.
They're like, you're cute.
Yeah.
So
you got to surrender a little bit there
So we did that. And they do like, there's only a handful of tests that they have to do. There's like test the pH, test the sugar content, which is called bricks, the viscosity. So are all those things the same when it's a gallon and when it's 100 gallons? So they just check it as the product, as they're making the product, and we got the right viscosity.
So how terrifying was it when you guys did your first batch with them? Was it like, oh my God, is this going to be the same thing, or what are we doing
here? A little bit, and they also say like if you get it up to 100 gallons and you're tasting it, for one thing, it's really hot when they're making it. So we do a process called hot fill where they have to get it up to a certain temperature. And then we bottle it in glass because there's only certain plastics you can use for hot fill, and a lot of them are not very attractive. So, and we just prefer to use the glass anyway, but so it's hot when it goes into those bottles, meaning we don't need any preservatives. And it tastes different. Like when we're sampling and doing the R&D, we take it home and let it sit for a few days, and then we keep tasting it after it's cooled off, because that's how the customer is going to taste it, So if you get it up to 100 gallons and you taste it and you think like, oh no, like it's too garlicky or it's too sweet or something, like they're like, don't make any changes at 100 gallons. Like you can't, when it's that big, like you just can't really. Yeah. So luckily it's been fine. Yeah. We work with a company in Lake Oswego called Paradigm Foodworks, and they do like Portlandia ketchup and a lot of Northwest brands. And they have their own brand that's out in stores as well.
They've been great to work with over the years.
We got really lucky. Yeah, they're fantastic. They source the bottles and caps, and we design the labels and have them shipped from our label printer in Spokane, and then they have all the fancy machinery. There's a lot of hot sauce folks in the Northwest and around the country that are bottling themselves. And so that's a lot of work. We see all their reels of they're in the kitchen with their crew and they got the, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how they do it, because it's a lot just doing the part that we do.
A lot of the same brands you'll see on the shelf next to ours, they're doing themselves. And it's like, man, that is work I don't want to do.
We get like craft foods and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, we know based on our research, this label works really good on this shelf. From this angle, different color patterns and based on what the ingredients are. It's like I couldn't imagine them starting out from the ground up as small business owners and trying to figure all these pieces out, whereas they've got thousands of people doing that.
My God. Yeah, it's true. We didn't know anything about retail.
Yeah, and at one time, though, those big companies were tiny little companies.
Yeah, it's true.
And they had probably ugly labels back then, too.
Yeah.
They're like, don't look at our early years.
That's right. So embarrassing.
I think because of all that, I think our process is really slow. I think, when you start a business and then you want to get like investment and all that kind of thing, investment wants quick performance and
an exit,
right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make their money, but we don't have investment, and so we have a tiny bit of investment from a group from Salem, but we are on a slow climb with this company. And I think that that's really good because we remain in control. And so we're not giving away portions of our company for money and all that. And so not saying that I wouldn't do that.
Sure.
When the time is right.
Go on Shark Tank or something like that. Yeah.
There's
That's where I first heard about co-packers, actually. That was the first time I'd ever heard that term.
Cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of celebrity chefs out there like, I'm gonna make this brand. They have really nothing to do with the brand other than their name is on the label. And then you taste it, and it's like, man, this tastes like garbage. It's like, you really put your name on this?
Yeah, right.
So having that control over what you do, I think is, especially if it's something that you love.
Yeah, for sure.
Is something important.
It's
and
really
we
fun.
do love like having a small business in Salem. I'm so glad that we landed in Salem because it's such a fun and supportive community, and everyone like really. I mean, we're members of the Chamber of Commerce. Are you guys in the chamber? Is that
we're not?
We're
no,
not.
I thought we had seen you there. Okay, but everyone there is just super supportive, and
they're gonna come knock on our door now.
Yeah, why aren't you part of this? Probably should be.
You can come as our guest to one of the Friday greeters meetings. Anyway, one of our early business mentors with this business said, "Inch wide, mile deep." Like that's what you guys want to focus on. And we're still focusing on that. So that just means like instead of trying to go like roll out in stores across 3,000 grocery stores across the United States, within the first 5 years, because that's a good way to sink your ship, just growing too fast. So inch wide, mile deep, like really saturate the Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Make sure your community knows about you and
get that organic growth and
go to other communities that we don't have the time to put time into.
I mean, unless we had a massive marketing budget and could do Super Bowl commercials and stuff to get the word out, but we don't. So.
But we're just now getting into that. So we're in all the local grocery stores, New Seasons, Market of Choice, Roth's, Zupan's. We just rolled out in Fred Meyer in March, and so now we're QFC. We're in QFC, which is like 50 stores around the Pacific Northwest. We're in a couple stores in California. And now we're just going to go dip our toes in the waters in Colorado. And so those are conversations that really, like today, I was having some conversations and how are we going to make this happen? And so we're, after 7 years, we're finally to the point where I feel like we've got enough, and we don't have enough, but we've got enough like local understanding of our product that we can step outside of our region. So it's getting there. So, but I think it's a lot slower than what people I think would think you need to do.
Well, Oregon's also like, people are kind of not a lot of things coming out of Oregon as much as like California. Like if you started this up in California, like who cares? I mean, it's just you're just another company of thousands of companies. So it's like, being in a smaller market, you probably get a lot more people that get more excited for you as far as like, hey, this is something that's coming out of Salem, coming out of Oregon, that type of thing.
And Oregon loves to support local.
Totally. Yes, I know. That's been, and this is such a great foodie area, the Pacific Northwest. People are really into food, and there's a really fantastic community of food and beverage producers that we're a part of. There's a Google group that must have like thousands of people on it by now. So honestly, when we started in 2016, for one thing, we didn't really know people in Salem because we had just moved here, and we also didn't know anything about what we were doing. But now we just have so much more support, and there's a lot of resource sharing and people saying like, who do you know that helps with this? And so, we feel really well supported, and
and even in the hot sauce community. So
everyone's friendly.
There's a lot of sauce makers around, and I don't know, we're all friends.
No one's and I will say, so I do a lot of our marketing, and we both were full time with our company for the last year, and now we're not.
Cool. Well, that's cool because you come from a business background with your previous business. You come from, the culinary background, so you guys are kind of this was a good pairing.
Right. It is a good pairing. Yeah, but
I can't imagine doing the stuff she does. Like, there's no way. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Matt's like, why do you get so excited about fonts? Like, is that fun for you? And I was like, look at this one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good match because I don't cook and you don't do marketing. So, anyway, But yeah, we're just excited to see where things go. I will say the question that we get asked a lot is like, do you have any new flavors this year? And we do want to come out with new flavors. Don't we?
It's like, no pressure.
We had 2 at the beginning of last season that we want to come out with. But the tricky part for us is, we're really focusing a lot on our wholesale journey to grow that sales channel. And grocery stores are not going to stock more than, well, some of them do for some brands. But if we have 5 SKUs is what you call it, like the barcode number, 5 flavors, that's kind of a lot to ask for. So we don't want to produce more sauces to go into the grocery stores. So, but it would be fun to produce more sauces to have locally at the farmers markets, just because people want to try something new and different.
Because you have to really, you're going to have to like fight to get that new sauce on the shelf somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can't go in and be like, no, we have another. I mean, you could, or we could just take one off. Like, what's the one that's selling the least? Like, we'll just replace it with this new one because it's new and different. You know, people always, I think, want something new. But then you look at like Secret Aardvark had the same 3 flavors for like 15 years. Tabasco had 1 flavor for like 100 years. So, you know, you can have your classic flavors.
Yeah,
but
in the end, people like, that classic sauce. Like,
no, we need new. I'm putting on the spot. Everyone, you heard it here.
I love sampler packs. Like when you go to like a brewery and like they say, "Can I get the sampler?" And they say, "What flavors do you like?" Just pick for me. I love the surprise of getting like the whole sample and trying it out. So
you guys
are getting the little sampler packs that you can give out for Christmas or something.
It's my favorite when I'm like, what do you want to, like, I'm gonna go order something, what would you like? He's like, surprise me. I'm like, no, tell me exactly what you want. He's like, I'm happy with anything. I'm like, just tell me what you want.
So I'm like, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to make
I know. I was like, I'm gonna overthink this so much.
No, so this is something you sell on your website also?
Yeah, we do. We sell on our website.
HeatYouCanHandle.com.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And you have all your flavors on there.
Yes.
All our flavors are there. You can
ship all over.
Depending on the time of the year, depending on the time, there's swag there too, hats and beanies and shirts. And then you can also go on the website and look up our retreats and see our plan for Costa Rica 2025.
Yeah, that's right. We have a wait list right now that we're just adding to the wait list. And then the bookings will open on June 19th. So everyone will have like 10 months to, if they want to do a payment plan or something. So yeah, that's exciting.
Wow.
What else?
I don't know.
I was going to say, what's next for you guys?
So you're coming out with new flavors. I mean, where do you see it kind of going here 10 years from now?
Yeah, it's a great question.
I mean, we both have different visions and goals, but I think both of them are great to have. My goal is I want to roll slowly out into grocery stores across the country. And so now Kroger is the store that we're sort of approaching with this. And we're in Fred Meyer, QFC is a Kroger store, Ralph's in California. I don't even know if we're still in Ralph's, but and now we're looking at King Soopers, which is a Kroger store in Colorado. And my hope is once we sort of get Fred Meyer situated and King Soopers, that the corporate Kroger office will kind of like, okay, here's this brand. Let's see if we can put it out. But we need to put the marketing dollars behind it. We need to make it a national brand. That's going to take time and it takes money. And
you need people that can go into the stores and hand out samples. It's called demoing and store sampling. So, we do a bit of that regionally, not as much as we should, but that's really what you need for a new product in a new state, and then it's expensive to pay people to go stand there and hand out samples. It does work. Like people will buy sauce, you put it on sale and you do samples. Like it does work.
Costco. I mean, that's the whole reason I go to Costco half time.
Perfect example.
And you come back and go, don't mind if I do.
He comes back with a different accent.
Yeah.
You're like, you here.
That's right.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me. It's my brother.
So have you put together like a recipe based on some of the sauces?
Yeah.
We have 5 on our website. We did rebrand last year. For anyone who's listening and knew us as Haas Sauce, we did the rebrand. So we rebuilt our website. Sauce? Yeah, it was called Haas Sauce.
Okay.
It's even hard to say. We were really excited about the rebrand just because we'd be on the phone with people and we're like, yes. I don't know.
HOSS.
Or like hotsauce.com. Everyone thought we were saying hot sauce all the time.
I thought you were saying hot sauce, and I was like,
yeah. No, it was like
Yeah.
Matt's chef name was Hoss, like from Bonanza, the big cowboy.
Okay, yeah,
so that's, and we called it Hoss, SOSS, sauce to rhyme, but we just could never trademark that. So with our new website, we've got only one recipe, 5 recipes, one recipe per flavor, but our goal for this year is at least one recipe a month.
Yeah.
And we've got some photo shoots lined up with some local professionals, and we're gonna do it. We're hopefully gonna hire out a lot of the marketing. I actually have another job this year doing marketing for a totally different brand. So HYCH might be time to finally
Pass on.
have a marketing team that does everything on time and in a concerted manner. So keep an eye out. I'm excited. You guys sign up for our newsletter.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
but recipes,
how can we support you guys?
Gosh.
Come to Costa Rica.
We're gonna give you good
I just need
memories
a
of Costa
redo.
Rica.
I just need a redo.
Look at our wheels.
The takeaway was it was an amazing trip with our son.
Yeah.
We had some great memories, and there were a lot of really great times. I just have to block out a couple.
And she likes the resorty areas.
I do. I like to be comfortable.
North. Right. Yeah, Costa Rica can be pretty rustic. I feel like the place that we go is like a nice blend of like, it's got a rustic edge, but it's also lovely and charming, and like the service is amazing and the food is amazing, and you won't be carrying your own luggage in the dark anywhere. It's not that rustic.
No snakes, no leeches.
I mean, there could be snakes, but like no leeches. I mean, no.
It's Costa Rica. There's
you're out and about.
I know.
Yeah.
But I think it would be okay. But anyway, obviously buying the sauce is the way to support us, and we're always at the farmer's market, but going to Roth's locally in Salem. Yeah. The more that product moves off the shelf, the better.
Awesome.
I always tell people when I'm sampling at events, I'm like, if you don't want to get it today, get it next time you're in like Fred Meyer or Roth's. Or I think people feel bad if they buy it at the grocery store, but I'm like, no, if you don't buy it, then it won't be at the grocery store. And honestly, it's always going to be less expensive because we never undercut our retailers. So we currently sell for $10 a bottle, and most of our retailers have it somewhere between $7.99, $8.99 a bottle, I would say. So we always like to make sure that they're offering the best price to the customers.
You're like, do you like it? Go to Roth's.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
Like, I'm just take it away really quick. How much do you like it? Do you like it enough to get in your car and drive to Roth's? That's right.
You can also go on Instagram and follow us. HYCH
that's a good way to support us.
Heat you can handle.
HYCH.
And you guys are pretty active on there. You guys got some good content you put out.
That's all Kat.
We've been working on it since 2016. So
you're a musician also.
I am. So I play in a band locally. We're called Big Stretch. The next time we'll play is Make Music Day, downtown on June 21st. And we have gigs all summer. I can't think off the top of my head.
We just played at the Yard.
Played at the Yard.
You play at Willamette Valley Smokehouse, usually by yourself once a month.
Once a month at the Smokehouse. I think the next one there is like June 12th or something like that.
Cool.
If you look online, or if you follow us, you'll see posts about that stuff too.
So cool. You're chef, musician, and sauce boss.
He's a
sauce
Renaissance man. That's right.
Very cool.
Creative arts.
Yes.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming out. And
thank you.
It was great.
And I've sampled a couple years, so I'm gonna have to get all. How many is there? 5?
Yeah, there's 5. And we brought samples, but I don't know if you want to sample them on air. But yeah.
Sample. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Not sure if I get Carrie to do that.
I know.
I didn't bring any chips. A lot of times. So Matt and I are so funny when we do events. We have totally different styles. Like I always like to have a bag of Juanitas with me, and he's like, "Don't take chips. You don't need chips." But just in case it's too spicy and someone wants a chip. But Matt's a purist. He just does spoons, so everyone can really taste the flavor, which is good.
In,
no pressure. No pressure.
I'll try it. Don't be offended if I'm like, "Whoa!"
You got your water ready.
I got my water.
You've had the bibimbap.
Yep.
So let's go to the tamarind.
Okay.
This is personally my favorite flavor that we make. It's just very unique. So this one, I would say it does have a little habanero kick, maybe like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Like 12 seconds in.
But we call it our pad thai sauce. So it's tamarind paste, agave, toasted sesame oil, and then habanero.
Okay.
So it's sweet and spicy.
All three. It's like taking a shot.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine.
It almost tastes like a peanut sauce. But
That's really good.
There's no peanut.
It's really
sesame. Is it too spicy? It's a little. That's what I mean.
sorry.
Like, it is a little spicy. I honestly think our sauces
flavor's
keep
really
getting
good.
hotter. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I like
See, we
that.
should have brought some chips.
It's really good. I like the flavor.
But it disappears though.
It really is. It like goes away really quick.
Right.
So
It's
it
not gonna
punches
stick
you in the
with you.
mouth, and
Right.
then it's like,
It punches you in the mouth. Wow.
Then what I do tell people that are
that's actually really good.
spice averse is you could always take any of these sauces and mix them with chicken broth or vegetable broth.
Oh, okay.
And sort of dilute them a bit and then mix them into a dish, like a stir-fry dish or something
Yeah,
like
because
that.
we get the vegetables and the chicken, you get water. It's gonna kind of dilute it a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You still
I
get
feel
all
like that'd be
that
really
flavor.
good with chicken.
Yeah.
That sauce.
Okay, what's this one?
This is the guajillo pepper. So this is tomatoes, roasted onions, roasted jalapenos.
Okay.
Is it hotter than the
taco
last one?
sauce. It's
It's just like a smoky heat. It's probably about the same level heat, just really different. We call this like our,
breakfast.
it's kind of like a classic enchilada sauce, but we do add a little honey to the recipe.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, a little smoky, a little earthy. Just really good for anything. You don't have to sample
No, I'm gonna do
these.
it. I'm gonna do it. Ready?
Clink.
Yeah, the breakfast burrito kind of thing. That's sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Tacos,
Good, yeah.
tamales. Yeah, just
That's
anything
really good.
Mexican style they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does taste
Cool,
like
cool.
enchiladas a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's my personal favorite. This is the pineapple habanero. So it's pineapple, roasted garlic, habanero. Yeah.
This one is a little zingy. I'll just put a little drop.
I think the thing
Like,
that I
it's not
like, I feel like
crazy.
you eat hot sauce and then it sticks around for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and-
burning you.
Yeah, like slowly killing your mouth.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't do that. It's
Oh
amazing.
good. Yeah, good,
Ready?
good. Yeah, this one if you like a sweet heat,
Fish tacos, pulled
Yeah,
pork
I can
sandwich.
see how
Yeah.
the fish tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one got you. That one got you.
This one got me. I'm sorry.
That's
laugh it
that
over.
one is the one if people say, "What's your hottest sauce?" I always say the pineapple. I feel like it's got that most zingy heat.
But
yeah.
it should
It's going
dissipate
away.
pretty
It's
quick.
going away pretty quick.
Well, if you're up
You
for
did
one
it.
more,
I'll do
did you
one more.
bring the
I'll do one more.
Nashville?
Nashville.
Try the bestseller. This is our
Nashville.
Nashville.
That's the one I really
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
That one would be good on like ribs and.
Brian's been
burgers.
putting. Which one have you been putting on everything at home?
I've been putting this on.
You guys have been beating
like
his
eggs.
Tabasco.
Oh
Yeah.
This probably
Tabasco
this
went to
one.
the back
This
of
is
the
very
shelf.
similar to Tabasco, like better, but no, just kidding. But more vinegar than
Ready?
the other one, so it's similar in that way. Yeah.
Oh, tastes like
And-
a pickle.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
well,
that.
vinegar. There's a
yeah,
lot more
there's
vinegar in
black
there.
pepper and vinegar.
That's really
and-
good.
Yeah,
It's got a
and
smoky
not
finish
too
to it.
hot. Like
It's
it's,
not too
just
hot,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah. I put that on everything too all the time. It's
That's
just like
really
a great
good.
everyday sauce. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my everyday. Yep.
I like it. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks for
yeah,
trying
it. That, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
like I'm a
Thanks for
grown-up.
sampling. You went outside the box. I did. Look at me.
Wow. It's because you went to Costa Rica and you got hard there.
Yeah.
You know, dealing with
I got something.
all the jungle.
Well, I'm curious. Like, when is your next graduation trip?
Next year.
Next year.
Where does this
She
child want to
she
go?
wants to go someplace cold.
Oh.
She wants to go like Ireland or Scotland
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
because she is very fair skinned.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to get burned wherever we go.
Oh,
so,
she's smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Iceland
that's
maybe,
great.
but I don't know about
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Yeah.
went to Hawaii when the kids were younger, and she,
love
both
it.
her and Brian, it was just like,
Oh no.
yeah, like, oh, this is great, and then they're like
Super
lobsters
Yeah.
the rest of the time.
That's
so
not
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So-
you got it worse than she did. I remember
I
you
did.
laying in the hotel room, just laying down, and we
Oh.
were like slathering it with aloe. We're like,
no.
we'll be back.
I'm a little bit smarter now, but
Yeah.
back. You know,
Are these all your kids together, the 4 kids, or do you have
We got
separate? and-
our oldest son, it was mine from a previous marriage,
Okay.
and so yeah, because she would have been 14 when you.
Yeah, that was fun. So, yeah, no, he lived with us growing up, and when we went to enroll him into high school, he went to the same high school I went to, a very small school. And as we're going to freshman orientation, a lot of the teachers are still there that taught when I was there, and you could see them mentally doing the math, like, did I miss something?
Oh my god.
Like, what's and then he has the same name as my brother, so that made it
wow.
like all
Oh,
nice and
that's
confusing. So people were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, and then you named him after your brother. I'm like, no, he was named when Brian and I met.
Oh,
So
that's sweet. I love
it was great. So we've got 25, 17, 11, and 8.
Oh, wow. All right.
Big
You got
Big
some more
spread.
fun trips
Yeah.
ahead.
So we have time to save up in between.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I
That's
think
great.
Scotland or Ireland would be really fun. I
Yeah.
would love
Yeah.
to do
It'd be
those
fun.
trips. Yeah.
Not
yeah,
known
yeah.
for their culinary food, but I think that's probably why she likes to pick that out. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
I
like-
mean, yeah, I've heard they have good food over there.
Where?
You know, Ireland and Scotland.
Probably
Yeah.
not huge variation.
Right,
That
right.
sort of stuff. Yeah. So
depending
So it's
should be
perfect
sick.
for them.
Yeah. We're going to love it.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah,
love it.
bangers and mash,
Yeah.
or whatever they eat over there, fish and chips. I don't know.
Scotch eggs.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Well, again, I appreciate you guys coming out,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to seeing what you guys can do and what flavors you guys come out with, and
Right.
supporting local.
Gotta get those new flavors
Thank you for
out.
having us.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you guys so
coming.
much. This was really a delight. Thank
Yeah, it was
you.
Thanks.